Well, hello there everybody, this is Roo, in case you couldn't tell by my fabulous accent and shitty pronunciation. That's right, I'm back. Well, I haven't really been gone, but I wasn't as active as I should be. How is everybody doing? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. But I don't want to spend too much time with niceties and introductions, so let's cut right to the chase. As the title and thumbnail of this video will tell you, this is a brand new series on World of Warcraft. Why? Well, I just love World of Warcraft, and why not do a video on a topic I like. What I want to do with this series is to enlighten those of you who have heard of World of Warcraft, but never got around to play it or struggle with the decision to pick up the game and play it. Do I really have to introduce WoW? I guess it's safe to say that everybody knows about Blizzard's fantasy MMORPG built on the war between the Alliance and the Horde. So let's presume you are familiar with that. What I want to do with this series is to introduce new players to the different playable races, how they start out in the game, and review the several regions in game. Further down the line I want to give you a more in-depth look on the several classes. But as you can imagine, this will take way more time, since it actually requires me to play them all. Alright, let's quit chatting and jump right into it. Now let's say you just picked up World of Warcraft and started it up for the first time. Not only do you get to see a pretty sweet cinematic cutscene, but also get to create your very first character. The first decision you have to make is what side you want to fight for, the Alliance or the Horde. So let's give them a quick rundown. The Alliance consists of the humans, dwarves, night elves, Draenei, gnomes and Worgen. If you decide to fight for the Horde, you can choose between orcs, the Forsaken, Tauren, blood elves, goblins and trolls. Last but not least, you can also go for the generally loved Pandaren. They are a little bit of a cheat, since while all other races are aligned to one faction, Pandaren start out as neutral and later on decide for a faction. With that out of the way, let's focus this video on one of my favorite races, the Forsaken. Let me give you some backstory to this bony people of Azeroth. The Forsaken are the undead inhabitants of the former human kingdom Lordaeron. After the Lich King, Prince Arthas Menethil, killed his father and laid waste to Lordaeron, he decided to raise his victims as undead soldiers, bind them to his will, and use them as mindless zombie killing machines. Among those troops was the High Elf Ranger General Sylvanas Windrunner. With time, the Lich King's grasp over the undead weakened, and more undead managed to regain their free will. Also among those intelligent undead was Sylvanas, who united the remaining and now free undead under her banner as the so-called Forsaken. Even though they have nothing in common with their mindless counterparts, the Scourge, the Forsaken are still hated by other humans and the Alliance, since they claim the right to the now ruined kingdom of Lordaeron. So if Sylvanas wanted to survive, she had to side herself with the Horde. After the victory over the Lich King and the devastating effects of the Cataclysm, Sylvanas and her Forsaken are now trying to bolster their ranks and secure their hold over Lordaeron and the capital, the Undercity. Let's say you decided to start your new life as a Forsaken. After choosing your avatar's gender and look, you will be faced with the decision of what class you want to play. The Forsaken offer you to play as a warrior, warlock, rogue, priest, monk, mage or as a hunter. Now I'm well aware that I didn't mention the Death Knight class, but those guys are a little bit special, so let's talk about them once we took care of all the other races. One thing I have to mention though is that the pick of your race isn't only cosmetical. Every race has its own special ability. For the Forsaken you get the ability to cannibalize corpses to regain health, a higher resistance against shadow magic, a spell that interrupts charms, fear and sleep effects, and last but not least, the ability to breathe underwater. Now that we got the technicalities out of the way, let's take a look at the actual game and the adventure that awaits you. After the opening cutscene pretty much tells you what I just did, you witness your character's rise from the grave. The so-called Valkyrs are helping the Forsaken to reanimate the corpses of fallen soldiers without having to tempt with necromancy. Now you could either stay here in the Tirisfal Glades or embark into other regions. it's your freedom to choose. If you decide to stay in Daphne Village, you first have to get your bearings over your new situation and are promptly tasked to deal with other newborn Forsaken who weren't as lucky as you. You're also introduced to 3 other new Forsaken, Waldred Morai and Marshal Redpath. Redpath is of note since you later run into him again as he is trying to create his own branch of Forsaken, the so-called Rotbrains. No manest omen with these guys and you just kill them. What else? More important though is the 3rd Forsaken in the bunch, Lillian Was, a young woman who can't really get over her new life as a Forsaken. Weirdly enough, even though she resents the Forsaken, she's pretty quick to praise Sylvanas.
Victory for Sylvanas.
Maybe Blizzard wants to change that. You will spend most of your time in Daphne Village with cleaning up the remaining Lich King forces, dealing with the Scarlet Crusade, and trying to help Lillian Was with her new life as an undead. After a good day's work, figuratively speaking, you'll journey further into the Tirisfal Glades. The main focus of the story shifts to your fight against the Scarlet Crusade and their, well, crusade against the Forsaken. You may have no idea what this whole Scarlet Crusade business is about, so let me help you out with a little introduction. After the before mentioned Lich King conquered Lordaeron and destroyed the kingdom, there was only one faction of the kingdom left to fight the undead, the Scarlet Crusade. The Scarlet Crusade is a religious order dedicated to bringing the holy light back to Lordaeron and eradicating everything undead from the world. As you can imagine, they don't like the Forsaken pretty much since they are, you know, undead zombies. Even though the main force of the Scarlet Crusade was destroyed in the past couple years, a small fraction is still active and stationed in Tirisfal and in war with the Forsaken. An interesting part of your fight against the Scarlet Crusade is your reunion with Lillian Was. As it turns out, before she got all bony and not living, Lillian was the daughter of the Scarlet Crusade's high priest Benedictus Was. By forcing her to study stealth, sorcery and martial arts, High Priest Was hoped to turn his daughter into a weapon against the Forsaken. Due to her untimely death and rebirth, Lillian is now shunned by the Crusade and even captured and ordered to be executed. You will meet Lillian again at the Daphne outpost, where she easily escapes her bonds and kills her captor. Why didn't she do that in the first place? Your adventure will eventually lead you to the town of Briel. I don't know why, but I really like it here. Your fight against the Scarlet Crusade will continue here, and you also have to deal with Worgen infiltrators stalking the town. If the fight against the Scarlet Crusade gets too boring for you, there are a lot of interesting side quests to do, like exorcising a ghost or visiting the Forsaken capital Undercity. The storylines in Tirisfal Glades wrap up with a last encounter with the Scarlet Crusade. And guess what? You're also stumbling upon Lillian again. This time you help her taking revenge on the Scarlet Crusade and even assist her in taking out her father, High Priest Was. Your basically besties with her now. Once you've been through with all this, you will be tasked with traveling to the Silverpine Forest to help fighting off a new threat. Worgen are pouring out of Gilneas City and bringing the fight to the Forsaken. And for now, that's all I have on the Forsaken. Next time I want to take a look at the Worgen, the feral beasts of Gilneas City. This actually comes in handy since the story of the Forsaken and Worgen is deeply interwoven. I hope you enjoyed this little review of the Forsaken race and their starting area. If you did, let me know by hitting the like button or leaving a comment. If you feel especially generous, why not share the video or subscribe to the channel. I can't really tell when the next video will be out, as you can imagine this takes a while to record and edit, but I will try my best to provide you with more content in the future. That's all for today, this is Roos signing off, bye bye!